So, the Call of the Night manga has ended on its 200th chapter, and the final chapter has left a lot of people in shambles, primarily because of the fact that this was a unprecedented ending, and many people, including myself, didn't expect it. So, let's talk about it. So, to catch everyone up, let's talk about the events leading up to the ending. First and foremost, in chapter 198, Ko and Nazuna have their final moments. And after Nazuna leaves, we're shown a picture of an older Ko going to school. Following this, in chapter 199, we see Ko and Akira talking about high school. So from the events of the last chapter, quite some time has already passed. And most importantly, the 1-year time limit that Ko had to turn into a vampire had passed. So Ko Yamari no longer has the means of becoming a vampire, or at least he shouldn't. For what we know right now, that option shouldn't be open to him anymore, but hey, it's Kotoyama's story, dude, whatever. After we learn about a year having passed, we're then reintroduced to a character who had left to explore the world of vampires a few chapters ago, Anko Uguisu. Although for us it's only been a couple of chapters, for the world of Call of the Night it was 6 months. So she's been gone for quite a while. And what we learned from Anko Uguisu's experiences of exploring different types of vampires is that number 1, there's no shortage of vampires in the Call of the Night world. Vampires are most likely a worldwide phenomena that are a constant throughout the whole entire world. And among these vampires scattered everywhere, a story lay within each of them. What we've seen isn't even a fraction of what lays in store. For example, there are 7 continents in the world, and we've only seen a minuscule part of one of them. And among all these vampires, there are, of course, vampires who aren't pleased with their existence, and vampires who have been ostracized by humans, and then some that even coexisted with humans, similar to Kabuta. And at the end of the day, these are still vampires. They're dangerous. Some even attacked people for no reason. And after Anko makes Ko aware of that, she then asks Yamari a question that I did not expect. She asks Ko if he's sure about becoming her assistant. And to this, Ko says that he is, and becomes a student at day and a detective with Anko Uguisu at night. Following this, we get an introspective scene from Ko recapping his experiences so far. He learned about the beauty of the night and vampires. He got involved with them and even fell in love with one. And this was something that he didn't want to lose, which is why he accompanied Anko Uguisu. He wants to broaden his horizons on vampires and learn about them little by little. We also get these 6 scenes of Ko becoming a half vampire and flying around, which I absolutely love. Next chapter, chapter 200, the final chapter. Starting off the final chapter, we get some dialogue from Nazuna, talking about how her year experience has been. Nazuna didn't have a goal or anywhere to really go after leaving Ko, and in a way she's kind of returned to her vampire roots. Beyond anything, vampires at the end of the day don't really have any roads set for them, especially with the sunlight proving to be a disadvantage for them, so their options are extremely limited for what they can be or what they can do as people. Nazuna also runs into a vampire while in a different country, and this vampire, similar to her, was in love with a human. And similar to Nazuna, she's trying her best to avoid engaging with this human. After this interaction, Nazuna proposes a question. Would he really want to see me, still young and unchanged after 50 years? And following this, we get one of the greatest hurdles for vampires in Call of the Night, that being love. Love is a curse to vampires. It's a rule that vampires aren't supposed to fall in love with humans. And if they break this rule, they are cursed. By who they're cursed is unclear, but they are cursed by bearing the burden of that love for as long as they live, even if their partner is long deceased. Who would dispel such a curse on vampires? Whoever it is uncertain, but one thing is certain in Nazuna's eyes, and that it's not God. After we're taken into Nazuna's new place of residence, where she lives with a grandmother and her children, this grandmother has a very stale expression on her face, and to be honest, it doesn't even look like she's alive, so this creeps me out. I'm not sure what she's supposed to represent or what the meaning behind her presence is, but she's creepy as hell, and I'm not gonna lie, every time I was just staring at her, I felt like I was overthinking about her being on the screen. Skipping over some slice of life moments with these creepy ass children, we learn that 3 years have now passed. 3 years that Nazuna and Ko haven't spoken. And, oh, hey, would you look at that? Ko finds Nazuna. So to summarize what happens next, Ko had been looking for Nazuna ever since he allied with Anko earlier, and they acknowledge that Ko being there, even after a whole year has passed, is still a huge risk. And to that, Ko just says that he wanted to see her. And after keeping her guard up for way too long, Nazuna kinda breaks for a moment. For these 3 years, she has been suppressing her vampire urges for the person that she loves, and Ko literally just body slams her. He doesn't do this for no reason though. He's showing that he has been training to protect himself and maybe even Nazuna if the time has come. And this is where his experience with Anko Uguisu really come into play, because while with Anko, Ko fights other vampires, so he's kind of learned how vampires tend to fight. And here something strange is also brought up that I never really considered before. Ko mentions that he became a half vampire before going to see Nazuna, and Nazuna, confused, questions why he can still do that because 3 years have passed. And Yamari himself doesn't know either. But to be honest, Ko was always a strange case when it came to the whole half vampire thing, and I hate that this was never properly examined. I guess the reason why he can still transform is because the 1 year period ended when he was at the halfway point and his progression just kind of subsided. I'm not sure. Your guess is as good as mine. Once again, Ko rephrases what I said before and instead says that if they can't be together because of Nazuna's vampire urges, then he just have to get strong enough to stop her. And if Nazuna decided to run away from Ko, then he'd just find her all over again, thus beginning their tag till death do us part game. Which basically means that since they can't be together in one fixed location, Ko will spend his days looking for her so they can be together again. And by doing this, they're constantly making themselves untrackable and seemingly out of harm's way. A lot of people didn't like this ending, but can we be serious here? The previous options we had before were 30 times worse than this, and frankly speaking, this wasn't even that bad. It's a lot better than it could have been. I personally feel like people are asking for too much. It isn't like either one of the main characters died, and it isn't like they'll never see each other again. It's quite literally the opposite when you take a closer look. So yes, this was a good ending for the series. It was a good note to end on. However, was Call of the Night a good series in retrospect? I'll be talking about that in one of my upcoming videos. Thank you guys for watching this, and if you made it this far, your subscription would be very much appreciated, or if you never want to see me again, you can just like the video. Or hey, you don't have to do that. You even making it this far was good enough. So yeah, see you guys soon.